You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the hosts or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Hello, and welcome to Edge Radio TV Network Women's Empowerment segment. I'm your host, health and fitness expert Nicole Giddens, and founder of Halo PR. I have my co-host here, Elle Brooke White,
Hello.
Entrepreneur extraordinaire, and she's with Brooke White Real Estate Services. So you guys hit her up, anything real estate and notary, right?
Yes, ma'am.
She is your gal for sure. And where can they find you?
Facebook, Brooke White, or my email address is brookewhitetxrealtor@gmail.com. Brooke is with an E. Don't forget the E.
She will help you find a house. She will sell your house. Let her do that.
Oh, yes. Or a lease house, a rent house, whatever, investments, whatever.
There you go.
Yes.
We have a very special guest today, Becca Carey. Becca, thank you so much for coming to the show.
So nice to finally get to see you.
Thanks for having me.
We have two guests today, but our first half is a pain for purpose story. And Becca, I just really appreciate your vulnerability and coming on the show today.
Yeah.
She's got a really compelling story that can help a lot of people out there, and it's very much in our climate these days.
Yes.
Human trafficking and basically human slavery is a really big problem, and it's really coming up to the forefront a lot, and with social media being able to expose it, and
more
social
people are
media is
talking.
part of the problem.
And with social media is it starts there most of the time. But I mean, we need it for the voice too.
That's right.
You know, I mean,
it's getting saturated.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of people that need help. So tell us if you were going to say once upon a time and begin your story.
Right. Well, normally I always like to start by telling a little bit about my childhood and how it's grown up, so people understand that this doesn't just happen to people that are coming from horrible situations and families. So I came from a very normal family. 2 older sisters, a younger brother. I went to a private school my whole life. I went to church 3 times a week, things like that. Had hardworking parents, dedicated, they loved us. But it was when I was 15 years old, I was sexually assaulted, and that went very public very quickly.
Wow.
And so it became a
by
kind
you
of,
or
no, unfortunately not, but by people that knew that had happened.
Oh, okay.
But the blame game fell on me. So a lot of people were like, you were where you weren't supposed to be doing. Yeah, absolutely. So I think I was traumatized a little bit more by that, more than the actual rape itself. But because of it, I spent the latter part of my teenage years acting out, severely acting out. So I went from being a good kid, normal kid, to one that was hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing drugs, vandalizing, breaking into people's homes, running away from home. But I also did things that, because I was traumatized and dealing with that rape, such as self-harm and drinking and things like that, which led to later in my teens being hospitalized in institutions about 6 different times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so over in a very short amount of time, you start believing what people are telling you about yourself. So these doctors were saying, look, you're not going to graduate high school, you're going to always have to have somebody take care of you, you need to be in a group home, and you start believing those things. So by the time I met my trafficker, I was a prime candidate to be trafficked. I was 21 and he was 47, and I was introduced to him by my friend. The difference with him is that he was nice to me. He sat me down and listened to my story and looked me in the eyes, and really genuinely I felt like he cared about me. And
for the first time.
For the first time in a long time.
But he's the one victimizing you at the same time. Isn't it crazy how they can still make you feel somewhat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, you look back and you're like, didn't realize how much validation I needed, and that's where I was getting it. And so within a 3-week period of time, he had me move in with him.
Oh, wow.
Very quick. And immediately when I moved in with him, I cut ties to all my friends and all my family, which was him basically telling me, well, these are the people that are convincing you you're crazy and that you
and you might have wanted to escape from that.
I did.
Right?
I did. So it was very easy for him
to manipulate you and get you to come in. Because you have someone telling you on this side that you're never going to succeed, and then you have this other one giving you everything that you want to hear.
Exactly.
Even though he's the real one that,
Oh, that's so crazy.
It's hard. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And these institutions, I mean, how are they very rehabilitative if they're just convincing you that you can't make it by yourself? They should be instilling self-confidence and telling you that you can climb out of this hole and
you can.
There's hope for everyone. Sometimes I really feel like some doctors just want you to stay sick. I'm not all of them.
I am on that page with you.
They want you to stay sick because that's how they make their money.
Well, exactly.
Not all of them.
I wouldn't say all of them either.
Not all.
Yeah, and keep in mind this was 20 years ago, so things have changed quite a bit. Yeah, I've met some amazing people that work in that industry. That are great at what they do. But back then, just dealing with myself, and now you have to be two-sided too. You have to want the help, and I don't think I was at that point.
You weren't ready.
Yeah. So the first couple of months with him was great. Like, he was validating me, he was taking me on trips, he was giving me gifts, but at the same time, everything in my mind looked great, but there was red flags. So he was introducing me to drugs, specifically crystal meth. Again, he was isolating me from my friends and family. But he was starting to introduce rules as well, like you weren't allowed to leave the home without him. He had to be with you at all times, or if you did go out with him, you were not to look at anybody and you were not to speak. And if you did any of those things, you would be punished. And the punishment before he started actually trafficking me was starvation, or he would beat me, or there's mind games. He started, I don't know how many times I've had a gun held to my head at this point. He is threatening my family. He's threatening my life. Keep in mind, this happened we were living in a home in rural, I can never say that word, in Indiana, in the middle of nowhere, so about 45 minutes outside of the city, in the middle of a cornfield. There was a trailer. That's where he had me. Wow. So he threatened me with taking me out to the woods and tying me to a tree and leaving me to the coyotes, which is the one thing you could hear at night out there. So it was a very real threat. So
it probably would have followed through.
Probably, yeah. Never know. So at that point, once he, I think, felt like he had complete control over me, he started taking me to illegal underground gambling facilities. And he had a gambling problem. He also was a drug dealer, and he had a drug problem. So he would go there, and he would have me stand next to him as he gambled. He would run up a debt, or he would want more money to play. So then he would start selling me to the men there at the facility. And then from there, it went to him dropping me off at hotels with John's, or to actually taking me to John's homes and staying there. So he did this for about 2.5 years, where you're just so convinced that this is what you deserve. Really? And no way out, because if he does, the real threat of harming your family or you is there. And I also had a car, so I could have left, but in my mind I was thinking I really couldn't.
What if he catches you?
Yeah. So that's the one question people ask me all the time.
Kill your family and threaten your entire home.
Absolutely.
Everything. That's crazy.
I mean, I can understand that. I can understand the fear of not wanting to leave for safety.
And that is like a double-sided question, because most people want to know why a person doesn't leave, and every survivor has a different reason.
We do. You know? I mean, I'm a survivor of domestic abuse, and I've been asked the same thing.
You get it.
Why didn't you leave? Yeah. Well, we have our own reasons, and I mean, it's hard to describe from each of us, but we all have our own reasons. You can't. It's not that easy sometimes.
It isn't. It is not easy at all.
And you were broken. You had this assault happen to you, and then you were shamed for something that you didn't even ask for. And if you were not there, have compassion for people's situation. If you want to give maybe the other person the benefit of the doubt, that's fine, but don't shame somebody if you don't even know what happened, if you weren't there. I mean, that poor person is going through turmoil inside their head, and you're just going to talk to them like that. I just don't understand. Society is just, everything's so volatile sometimes, you know? It's just crazy.
It is. And everyone's got to blame somebody, or I don't know. It's just like back then it was totally different when it came to the victims.
Right.
And it's I don't know, it sucks. that it was like that.
And unfortunately, in some ways, it's still the same.
And it is. Like we talked about the last time on one of our other shows about the justice system when Mariah was here. They fail us daily, and that's why people don't speak out, because the justice system wants like a hardcore slam dunk, you're going to prison, but it doesn't mean a 4-year-old's lying. Right. You know what I mean? Like things like that. So
and victim blaming is a real thing.
Like, yes, it is.
People have no idea the impact that can have on a victim, when it really is. It should be focused on the person that committed the crime.
Amen.
And it never is. So
no, it's like hard.
Sometimes they want to protect that person, especially if they have a certain criteria.
Statute in the community.
I had a coworker cross the line with me, and it was, say we have to take it to HR, but say as little as possible while you're there. Amen. We don't want his wife to find out.
Yeah,
that's
see things like that.
What? It's crazy out there. It really, really is.
Okay, well, we need to take a break at the moment, but when we come back, we're going to continue this extraordinary story, because I have more questions too.
Oh yeah, y'all stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health physically, spiritually, emotionally, even intellectually, because there's so much out there in misinformation. There's a lot of people now that are suffering from all sorts of diseases that they really wouldn't have to suffer for if they had better information. And that's what we're here to do. Provide information that can save lives.
The mind and the body are totally connected.
Health can be really serious, and sometimes we just have to lighten it up a little bit while we're still providing substantive information.
And my sort of mantra on the salsa dance floor is kind of similar. I tell somebody, if you make a mistake twice, it becomes a move. Okay?
Tune into Natural Nation every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. We have our guest here today, Becca Carey, telling her Pain for Purpose story. And we just led off. So you were with this man. He basically captivated you and threatened your family, threatened your life. You were 21 years old. He glamorized a lifestyle there for you for a little while to manipulate you. And once he felt like he had control, started selling you, and that you said that happened for 2.5 years.
Yeah, just a little bit over. Yeah.
And then what?
So there was an incident, and I won't get too much into that, what happened, but it made me realize I needed to get away from him at that point. Up until that point, I was like, this is my life.
Right.
But there was one incident where I was just like, I will not survive another year with this guy. At the end of the 2.5 years, I weighed less than 100 pounds. I barely spoke. I was almost mute because I wasn't allowed to speak to people. If I did, it was crazy. But I did have a car, and again, I get asked why I didn't leave, but I did at that point. I tried to leave, and I went to a friend's house, or someone who I thought was a friend at the time. And the second time, so both times that I went to her, he came and got me and brought me back. Wow. And it turned out the second time I found out she was relaying to him that I was with him and where I was in exchange for free drugs.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Were there more people that he was trafficking with you that you didn't know?
No. And I do guarantee that there was people before me and people after. Yeah. I guarantee it. But the third time I wisened up and didn't go to her. I just took my car and I went to the city and I got a job, incidentally, and ironically, it was a telemarketing job, which really helped me find my voice at that point. Because I had to talk. I had to, and I slept in my car sometimes. I took showers wearing, friends' homes. I met a woman named Vicky who had 2 young sons. She worked the night shift. I worked the day shift, so she let me start staying with her, which was great. Yeah. And she introduced me to another older gentleman named Bart, and I became fast friends with him. And I think he could tell that something was wrong. He didn't get into my history, didn't ask, and I didn't tell him, but I think he knew that in the present I needed help. So he took me to a safe place, which... Guys, it was his mom's house, but nobody would have known where I was. Yeah, but the biggest thing Bart did for me at that point in my life was he reconnected me with my family, because he's such a family man himself, and he just saw the importance of that. And so I did call my family, and we reconnected. And then another tragedy struck with the woman, Vicky, that I was staying with and introduced me to Bart. There was a fire, and one of her children died, and her niece died, and she fell into the fire. Long story, but I always share that part because she was a big pivoting point of helping me, but also that incident made me realize I needed to get as far away from Indiana as possible. Yeah. So Bart and I moved to Colorado. 2 years later, we got married. So the guy that got me out and helped me get out was literally my heart. So we got married. But this is when I normally share with people that they think once you're away from your abuser, that everything goes back to normal. Yeah. But after trauma like that, there is no...
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Normal. Yeah. But I also didn't know human trafficking existed because 20 years ago, the term wasn't even out there. Right. So I thought it was an isolated incident and it was just me. So I dealt with it in the worst ways possible. I went back to the self-harm and I started drinking. And for 14 years, that's what I did. On the side of really trying to get my life in a new direction. I mean, I got married, we moved to Texas, I got legit jobs, and I went back to school, which was a big deal for me. And it was during one of those classes that I actually heard the term human trafficking. And I had to get up and leave that class because I sat in the bathroom and it's bald.
Because it was like, that's ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, my life.
I lived that.
That's my life, yeah.
It did that to me whenever I realized I was in domestic violence. I knew it was wrong. But it's like, you don't want to think that the person you love is like that. Right. But then it's like, after so many events, it's like,
enough's enough.
This is domestic violence.
Yeah. Well, as a defense mechanism too, I think your body just tries to block it out.
And it does.
It just blocks it out, and you want to try to forget that it ever happened.
Yeah, it's abuse.
And you're subconsciously suicidal, and that's why you're self-harming or you're doing things that are abusive to your body, over drinking, doing drugs.
I think mine was the over drinking. I didn't do the self-harm. I can't do self. If I ever hurt myself, you'll know I've really lost it because I can't painfully hurt myself.
No, and that's just another addiction in itself.
No, and it is, and I've learned about that too with the cutting and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And other things, but Yeah, it's difficult. It's hard and it's traumatic.
Yeah, and I saw a therapist at this point in time. So talk about a woman that was very different from the people before. Right. She was complete opposite, amazing, but I never shared with her my story and what was going on. So, and unfortunately, how can she help someone if she doesn't know? And you know, so I went through about a year after hearing the term of being just angry at the world, God, at myself, at my friends and family, that this was happening to so many people and nobody was doing anything about it. But then I came to the realization, I'm like, why am I mad at everybody else? Because I'm not out there doing anything either. So I had to, at that point, decide which direction I was going to go, and I chose to get my stuff together. So I entered into a treatment facility for 30 days to get sober and deal with like eating disorder and things like that. And then I came home and said, I'm going to do something, and applied to a school in Pattaya, Thailand, which is
what?
Yeah, I know, right? And I didn't think I was going to get accepted, but I did, and they only accepted like 50 in the world. So it dealt specifically with human trafficking and every aspect of it, from rescue to prevention to, and I was like, why am I doing this? But I just felt pulled to do it. And so I went, and it is the #1 city in the world for
That's what I was about to say. Thailand. You can't,
and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But it was 5 weeks, and I immersed myself back into, even though it was very different in the stories, it still resonated really well, or really hard. And but I came home after that 5 weeks knowing that what I wanted to do, because I always thought I was going to go to school and get a master's and go into counseling and help survivors, but at the end of the 5 weeks I'm like, that's not for me.
Oh wow.
I'm going to open a nonprofit and I'm going to help people like me.
Yes.
And so within 3 months of me being home, I had established Hands of Justice and got our 501. Hands of Justice.
Yes. And so tell us everything that the charity does. You guys educate people on human trafficking, and then you also educate victims to get a better life. So go a little bit more in depth on that.
Yeah, we are an economic empowerment nonprofit, so we strive to empower survivors through education, awareness, outreach, survivor scholarships, and survivor-led support groups. So our main survivor programs is we want to help them get education. Getting my degree was a huge deal for me, but it was hard struggle. And I'm like, well, it would have been nice if there had been somebody to help along that way. So we help with scholarships to help with their GED or a certification program, or to go to college. Education, period. But we're also walking alongside them and supporting them along the way with our support groups. And they are led by survivors, which is awesome.
That is.
And they're trauma informed. And we have, I think, over 6 in the Houston, surrounding areas of Houston at the point in time. And education is just huge on my heart. So not only for survivors, but also the community, and educating them about what human trafficking really is.
Well, because a lot of people, they don't realize how prevalent it is. They just don't realize that the massage place right here is one of those underground ones, just because it has massage out there. And they're coming in through the back door. I mean, it is. It's. I mean, we learned a lot through the street grace and they're everywhere.
Yeah, I can tell you, in the state of Texas, there's 313,000 people, and 79,000 of them are children being trafficked right now.
79,000
children.
Oh my God, that makes me so.
It just cringes me. I mean, it just because it becomes a cycle. Because those children grow up. And it's and you always have a which way are we gonna be an adult, and it's like it can go either way, and it's just so hard and
They're
sad.
getting groomed on social media
everywhere.
Yes, that's the #1 way now.
You have a childhood. I couldn't imagine.
I would find it very difficult to be a parent in this day and age with the internet.
We talk about this all the time. It is the hardest job we have.
The best thing a parent can do for your children is teach them to have compassion for other children, because it's the bullying and it's the belittling and it's the isolating that child and everybody, because that child may be different or something like that, that can put them down a road exactly like that, because they feel like nobody loves them and they're not important. And educating these victims is so very important for them, just to have a value system, within themselves and have a quality of life again.
I know.
I think it's important for parents also to make sure their children know that they can come to them about anything and everything, because a lot of parents are just like, not all, but a lot. They're dismissive of it, and But if they feel like they really can talk to you about it, they're going to share that stuff hopefully before it even ever happens.
Start the dialogue now. So how can our audience find Hands of Justice, and how can they get involved if they want to?
Yeah, just go on to handsofjustice.org is our website, and it lists everything that's on there, and you can sign up for our newsletter to see what kind of events. We have our gala coming up in August. And
is it a virtual or we get to go?
You get to go.
Let's go.
Yay. We're going.
Yeah,
Yay.
I'm so excited about it. And then we, all month long right now in April, we are doing a virtual 5K, 5K walk or run, so you can get pledges. And then we're going to have an in-person one on May 1st in Conroe.
Okay. I might have to hit that one up.
Yeah. So if you guys want to get involved, handsforjustice.org. This is Becca Carey. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to have Sheree Young.
Ooh, so y'all stay tuned. Her name.
Bye, guys.
EDGE is about community, synergy, and empowerment.
The responsibility be on this? Should we have had a national plan, or should
that the government needs to get out of the way and let people figure it out?
What do you do for your face?
So I do have a skincare line called Infinity Skincare. And welcome back to How You Living on Edge Radio Live. So to Jennifer, I'm just saying mine and I'm out.
Peace.
Can't say we not working, okay?
You cannot say we not working.
Say that we are.
No, they're just ready to get back out there and start sexing up other people.
Yeah.
That we weren't interested in any silver medals. If they wanted to give us the gold medal that we earned.
给我穿的观众，我是富卡，今天又到了我们。
It's a hotel kind of vibe.
Well, I mean, I'm
we're
sure he's like,
turning
I
down
don't
to
hear
say,
you
here's the
complaining
dinner,
about
man.
the cheap
cocktail. This is our first mixed cocktail. We have.
Three, action.
Very good margarita.
Folks, as always, this is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get, right? So to the Edge Radio Network, we are going to be bringing you continuous, interesting conversations, interesting encounters, interesting experiences, education, knowledge, and a lot of laughs and a lot of fun, folks. So you don't want to miss it. So
when people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Hello, hello, and welcome back. We have our guest here, Sheree Young from the Christian Diva Show. She is an influencer, an entertainer, all of that. And she's carrying on her mother's legacy. So we've got a lot to dive into.
So excited.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So if you were going to begin to let the audience know something to motivate them for ambition as a woman in business or anybody that thrives to be in entertainment, where would you start?
I would first start by telling people, first of all, be true to yourself. Know what it is you want to get into. Be true to you. allow yourself to expound on different things so you'll know what it is that you are supposed to be doing. Because here's the thing, a lot of time we're bouncing from here and there, and sometimes it takes that in order for us to figure out where it is, where we need to be, where we need to go. I'm not going to even start to tell you, well, we may get into it, how many times I've bounced around until I actually found what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. So I would say if you have a person telling you or a mentor telling you, see, my thing, I didn't want to listen at first. I thought I knew, oh no, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, rah, 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 but I didn't. So had I listened, I would be much further in my career than I am today.
I think that's the true sign of maturity when you know you're getting old is when you realize you don't know crap.
I don't know nothing.
Hey, wait, I ain't getting old now.
No, but
Me
I mean,
neither. But you know, I'm 52.
But you know,
I'll be 52 in
like,
July. In July, I'll be 52.
As your late 20s, as you're going into your late 20s, and you realize you don't know it all anymore, and you still have so much left to learn. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're an outgoing person and very extroverted and you just want to take control of the situation and be aggressive and you don't want people telling you what to do.
That's me.
You got it under control.
That is me.
Right? So you've been on several different platforms.
I have.
Tell the audience which ones you've been on.
I have my very first, I believe the very first show I was on was The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
No,
I love that show.
I was an extra. Wait a minute. Listen. I was an extra, but I was saying, everybody was hitting me up, girl, I see you.
She was there though, okay?
And it started from there. Actually, I'm going to tell you the story how it started. It started with Cynthia Bailey.
I love her.
She came to Houston, and I'm not going to call myself an author, but I have a book that's out because I got pregnant at the age of 15 years old.
You're an author.
At 15 years
you got a book
old.
with your name on it?
Absolutely.
You're an author.
It's in my married name, and I'm no longer married. I am divorced.
DIVORCE.
Yeah, I actually had a divorce party, girl.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was burning shit. No. I burned my wedding dress.
We can still have one for you.
No, I'm good.
So
we can party though.
So she was here in Houston through another women's empowerment program called TWEF, TWEF. And they invited me out because they knew I had a book. And they said, well, she's going to be platforming some books. She was married to Peter at the time. And I went out. My book got platformed. And we went to the side and started talking. She said, well, you know what? I groom girls and I have a modeling agency in Atlanta. And I would love for you to come down and talk to the girls and this and that. And it's fun from there. I went there and she was like, well, you know, we're going to be on set doing X, Y, and Z. And they told me I could bring people on for extra. Because at the time, Moscato was trying to get her to be the face for a wine that they were doing, a flavored wine. Wow. So they were platforming that night when I went to Atlanta. And it just spawned from there. The next year she did her fashion show. She had me back in. She was like, I want you to come down. And it just spawned from there.
If she ever invites you out there again,
girl,
you
bring your girls from Houston.
So I started learning the industry for myself. I started learning the industry. I started meeting people just through going to different events that I was being invited to, and just started learning people, and people just started inviting me. And I'm like, hey, you know what? This TV thing, I think I can do this.
I can do this.
So I just started being featured. Different people just started hitting me up, asking me to be featured on certain things, and I did it.
I love it.
So now, of course, I've been featured on Iyanla Vanzant doing Quarantine, not actually on the show. We were supposed to be on the show. Quarantine hit, so they had us to do a quarantine thing last year. But then I was called back on 2 weeks ago to do another piece because she's doing her finale. She's not doing any more seasons. So I was one of the ones of many who were asked to come back and do a piece for her finale, and we did that on last week.
That's so
Still
cool.
Quarantine.
Yeah.
You know, we film at the house and they take it and do whatever they're gonna do with it.
Kind of like what they do with The Voice.
So I'm being seen on little snippets and everything. So I can't do a whole lot of talking now. I'm filming for another show, and it's based right here in Houston, Texas.
Nice.
So I tell people, follow your dream. Don't ever.
Yeah.
And I kind of get choked up when I talk about this. Don't ever let people tell you what you can't do. Because if I would have listened to people, and if I would still listen to people, I turn a deaf ear to when people tell me what I can't do. Because if I know within my heart, within my mind, within my soul that I want to do something, again, I get emotional. I'm going to do it. I'm going to run. I'm going to do it because I know I can do it.
That's right.
That's one thing my mother taught me.
Amen.
Don't ever say no. Stay positive. Stay true to what it is you know you can do, and that's what I do. And I believe that's why God has blessed me to be where I am today.
Oh, amen.
So tell me about this book you wrote.
It's called My First Time Was a Lifetime.
Oh!
Okay. My daughter is well over 30-something years old. I was 15 years old when I got pregnant with her. And if I tell you, she's still my lifetime. She's married with three girls. They live in Dallas, Texas. Well, Forney, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas. She's doing very, very well. And the book just talks about getting pregnant. And fortunately, I had the help of my mother and the other grandparent. A lot of girls don't have that.
Yeah.
A lot of girls don't have that. And then I was 15, he was 19. My mother wanted to file statutory rape. It talks about all of that. And I'm like, I'm going to still be with him. That's my man. That's my boyfriend.
No.
So she tried to get me in boarding school. She tried to get me put away because we were church. I mean, when I say we church. My mother worked in church, so she was very embarrassed. My mother was an educator. She was very embarrassed that her daughter got pregnant. She was like, I talk about the girls at school that get pregnant. Then you get pregnant? I'm like, it's just something that happens. She kept me so.
You just can't shake away the hormones.
She kept me so sheltered. So my book talks to other young girls, let them to know my struggle at being a young parent. And you may not have the access that I had to have my daughter in daycare and still be able to play sports, because my mom didn't take any of that away from me.
Oh, wow.
She said, I still want you to enjoy your teenage. Oh, yes. I still went to prom. I still played sports. I had my daughter in my 11th grade year. I still played sports 11th, 12th grade. I still did everything.
Wow, that's great.
Yes.
That doesn't
happen very often.
It doesn't,
Usually
and my
their
book
life
talks
ends
about
there.
that.
They stop being able to be a child.
My book talks about that. I used to go out and speak on different platforms, different conferences about that. And I kind of came away from it when I started this TV thing. Mm-hmm. So, but I do motivational speak. Yeah, I do motivational speak. So most of my speaking now is to empower other women, to let them know you can be whatever you want to be. Listen, let me tell you, I used to be, at one point in my life, I was homeless, sleeping in my car with a newborn baby. My son is 23 right now. And for 2 weeks, I had to sleep in. A lot of people don't know this story. Some people do. I was living in Dallas, Texas. And I could have came back home to Houston to my mother, but I didn't. And I thank God right now that I didn't do it, because I wouldn't be where I am today.
It taught you.
I sit on the edge. I sit on my mental edge, and I said, okay, I'm going to jump. Either I'm going to sink or swim, or I'm going to fly. And I believe I can fly.
That's right.
I believe I can touch the sky. I spread my wings and I flew everywhere. I went back. I got myself back in school. Got on assistance, whatever I had to do to get my son in daycare. I didn't abuse the system. I did what I had to do. I took those years to go back to school and do what I needed to do. Got back in the education system. And again, if I would have come home, I don't think I would be where I am today. Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom in order to come back up again. And that's what I did.
No, I truly feel that.
I know that.
Sometimes, it's not through like peaceful meditation that you have the epiphany.
It's not.
It's
through
the times of struggle.
The very bottom.
It's through the times.
Because see, when you get to the bottom, that's when you can hear God. When you get to the bottom, that's when you can say, okay, I need to figure this thing out. Nobody is here but me. I have to figure it out. You can figure it out if you don't have people talking in your ear.
So true.
You can figure it out if you don't have people telling you what to do. Because see, my experience is not your experience. My experience is not your experience. You guys' experience is not my experience. So what works for you may not work for me. What works for you is not. You may have said, I'm not gonna sleep in my car. I'm gonna call mom and dad. I can go home.
Oh no, I probably would have done that. I would have
my mom would have said, come on back home, but I would have had to come home with rules and regulations. And I was 28 years old.
And you're like, I'm not doing that.
So the 19-year-old kid didn't work out for you then?
19-year-old.
The 19-year-old with your daughter.
No. Well, we dated for some years. Honey, that was my boo back in the day. What you talking about? That was my boo back in the day. You know how it is, high school sweethearts.
I get it. Yes, it was a young love, but it was still love.
It was.
Yeah.
I have a beautiful daughter out of the relationship, and that's all that matters.
That's great.
That is great.
I know.
I love that she wrote a book about
it. I love that.
Amazing.
No, I love it that you still got to do what you should have been able to do anyway.
Right.
You didn't stop. And your parents, I'm happy your family assisted you in that too. I'm sure that they were a big help as well.
Yes.
Because,
when you went back to school, what kind of degree did you get? What did you go back to school
Actually, it's in advertising and marketing. But then when I started working in Dallas ISD, they had a program that's called Grow Your Own Program, which you have to give 5 years to them. You cannot leave the district. And if you want to further your career in education, you can do that. So I got in that program, which is Grow Your Own, and I was grandfathered in back in 1998.
Oh, wow. Yes. That's really cool.
You have to dedicate, and now I think the program you have to dedicate 10 years to a district.
Oh,
but I'm grandfathered in. So this is like my 25th year, I think. So
Which,
10 years
you're
is a long
okay.
time.
Yeah. Wow.
10 years is a long time to have to dedicate yourself to a district.
No, it is. It is. And my mom's grandfathered in too, I believe, because she's been in 23 years in a district.
Oh yeah, honey, she's grandfathered in.
She's totally in.
She's gonna get all of her benefits and Medicare when she leave, like me.
She said, "I'm staying
that's
for life."
where it's
Stay
at.
till they say
You
go.
need security and stability.
Yes.
You really, really do.
Yeah.
People, don't realize that when they're younger, but as you get older, it's very, very vital to have that.
It was the insurance for her, she said. No, I know.
Well, I mean,
it's a good. She's a good teacher too.
So you're filming a show right now.
Yes.
What else is on the agenda? I know that you've interviewed on the red carpet. And
I actually had. Oh yeah. We're actually. I normally during this time I would have just been coming back from the Stella Award in Las Vegas. I do that every year on the red carpet. Last year we had to do it quarantine, and it was so miserable. Different because we had to interview the people. They come in the room and tell us, okay, you can come on out the room now. I'm thinking, I'm not coming out the room, dude. I'm just right here on Zoom waiting on you to let me in. So it was different, but it was cool. This year it's gonna be in quarantine again.
Oh,
so
okay.
I do that.
Let's talk about that when we come back. We have to take a break real quick. He's splashing at me. So we'll talk about our quarantine, but not quarantine this year.
Yes.
We'll come back.
Y'all stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment here on Edge Radio TV Network. We have Sheree Young here, and she's multifaceted. She's got so much going on. We were just talking about her having to do quarantine interviews again for the Stella Awards. So I hope next year it's different.
I know, because I love Vegas. Well, I actually did go to Vegas for spring break.
So tell me how it was, because I want to go. My birthday was 2 days ago. Is it? Is it open?
Yes,
it's open all day and night.
Yes.
I don't have to just day drink.
Yes. Yes, it is open.
Did you have to get a test to come back?
No.
Oh, well.
And actually, I'm vaccinated, but
and
actually, I went in July for my birthday last year, and the hotels that we stayed in, you had to get the temperature, but now they're not doing that.
You could take my temperature.
Oh, you still have to wear masks.
Yeah. You do have to wear masks. Okay, fine.
Like I had my face shield on. They kept saying,
you
still have to put a mask on under your face shield. I'm like, dude, it's hot. But
it is hot.
I stayed in my room a whole lot. I didn't do a lot, because it was so many people.
It's open. Yeah, they're all there.
It's open.
I know.
Tickets
big
open. I don't know about big crowds like that.
I almost took a day trip on my birthday. I ain't gonna lie. It was like $57 for a ticket.
Wait a minute. How about $19 for a ticket?
Whoa! What? We can all go.
Vegas, here we come.
I'm just saying.
Just for the weekend.
I mean, I would.
Let's go.
It's Easter.
But you know what? You can stay safe. You can stay safe. Just keep your mask on and continue to
people.
Yes.
Just wear your mask.
No, we're totally going.
Okay, deal.
Yeah.
Now I will say this. Their restaurants are 6 feet apart. Their tables.
Okay, well that's fine too. I still like that. I like that before
and the slot machines is every other slot machine. You can't sit next to anyone.
I like people just have to stay away from
I mean, I want that rule to stay. Okay, keep it on the floor at the Walmart. Stay 6 feet away from me, please. Hell with human trafficking. Stay away from me and my kids.
So we're gonna do the Stella Award. They actually pushed it back to July.
Okay.
I normally do the Essence Awards in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, nice.
I was one of the ones that did the last one that they had because they completely canceled it last year. Was no quarantine. This year we haven't gotten an update on what they're gonna do yet.
Okay. They might open. I mean, Vegas is open. New Orleans.
So I've interviewed some people like Tamar Braxton, Trina Braxton.
What?
Oh, and I was actually on stage with Oprah Winfrey.
What?
Wow.
About a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
Oh wow, what is she like?
I know.
Oh my God, and I'm this big personality. I have like a big mouth, and when I got on stage and when she shook my hand, I froze.
You couldn't talk.
She asked me a question. I was like, she was like, "What's the name of your nonprofit?" I was like, I was dumbfounded.
You sounded just like her.
And she's so cool to be around. I mean, dance and everything. And she make you feel so
I bet you
warm.
She is high on life. Are you kidding?
I was like, oh my goodness.
Really? Yes. Oprah, huh?
I love that.
I went to Chicago whenever I was young. Well, I was 22. I was 23. And I was at the bottom of where she lives, because she lives in the very top, right down there by Navy Pier. And I was standing there, and I was just like, Oprah, where are you, girl?
That's so funny. So you're also on the Angela Bennett show.
Yes,
correct?
I am.
Ooh.
And what do you do on that show?
I am the celebrity gossip columnist there.
I love
Honey, we gets messy on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. So tune in at GODRadio1.com.
I love it. I love it. That would be fun to do,
I love that.
That would be fun. And they keep it appropriate because it's Christian based, right?
We do. They have to beat me out sometime.
Oh,
girl, you can't say that.
That's me. They wanted to beat me a couple times.
That's hilarious.
I also have my own brand of wine that's out. My own signature brand of wine.
Why didn't you bring us a bottle?
What?
Oh man, you're fired.
Oh man,
it's called Loudmouth. It's a
Are
watermelon
you
Moscato
from another mister? Because I mean,
but listen, on May the 22nd, it's my 3rd year anniversary for the wine. You guys are invited.
We'll be there.
Absolutely,
we will be there.
I would like for y'all to be my special guest.
I would love to come.
We're there. I already got it in my calendar. I told Siri. I told Alexa and Siri, put it in. Loudmouth. No, I need a picture with this bottle because I'm a loudmouth, and I need to try this.
So all this entertainment stuff is so fun, but you do a true purpose in life, and you're carrying on your mother's legacy.
Yes.
So tell the audience a little bit more about that.
The organization is called the Outreach Program Incorporated. My mother started this over 30-something years ago, And as children, we grew up, we never liked working with the organization. We was like, why do we have to go and give other kids and families toys before we receive toys? Why do we have to go out and give turkeys on Thanksgiving Day before we eat? We just didn't understand. It was when I was grown, when I understood that we're doing this for a purpose. There's a reason we're doing this for. And my mother started doing this because she was a school teacher in North Forest ISD, which is now HISD took over. Yeah. And she would see kids come back to school after Christmas. And teachers always ask, what did you get for Christmas? Right. And the kids would say, well, I didn't get nothing. Or my brother got a basketball and we had to share. And she would hear some of the stories. She started out, well, I'm going to, surprise 20 kids this year with gifts. And then it grew from there. And then maybe 10 years into the organization, she reached out to Channel 2 and the Houston Fire Department and asked them to partner up. And she just made the phone call not knowing they were going to do it. No clue. Within 24 hours, the fire department called. We're partnering. You don't even have to bring toys to your house and store them anymore. They're going to be stored at our fire station. Channel 2, because of the fire station, that's why I tell people, reach out to sponsors if you have to, partner if you have to, because you never know. You never know. And Channel 2 came aboard. So when my mom passed, it was really good because Channel 2 did a huge thing, and I'll send you guys a link. And the fire department was the pallbearers for her for her funeral. So they did, and they had a whole fire truck in front of the church when they brought her out. Way. Yes. So I have the tribute in my phone. I'll show it to you guys.
I love you. So the legacy is still going on.
It's still going, and we are the largest toy drive in Harris County. We have surpassed Sheila Jackson Lee. What? So this year we did, was it 22,000 families. And it had to be drive-by. We had it out at the NRG this year. What? And it was drive-by.
Yeah, Calum was out there. K-Dog, I think he was. Yeah.
So we normally have Trade of Truth out there, and
I'd love to get involved.
Councilwoman, Attorney Jalonda Jones is out there every year. I mean, we have some of everybody come by.
Oh, I would love. It's all about the children. We are.
So it was, this year the kids couldn't get out and play and stuff like that, and then it was raining really bad that morning, but we were still able to service the families.
I mean, I love that. Even if you need help, people dropping off toys at houses. I mean.
And then how can people get involved with this charity?
They can contact me at Sheree Young on Facebook, or you can go to yourchristiandiva.org. Okay. And just connect from there. Okay. Because I would have all these different websites and platforms and all this stuff. Just go to one and you can click on it. You could just see whatever you want to do and it'll take you to it.
Okay, yourchristiandiva.org.
You are, not Y or you are. You are.
2 letters.
Yes. Okay. Your Christian Diva. Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. And do you have any other events that people can come out to or anything going on?
May 22nd, I will be having my 3rd anniversary for my signature wine. It's called Loudmouth.
I love the name.
Location to be announced. Location to be announced. What else I have going on?
I love the name.
I think that's about it.
What kind of wine is it, though?
It's a watermelon Moscato.
Girl, she got me. She is.
Watermelon Moscato!
It's like me in a bottle, girl. What'd you do?
It's watermelon Moscato.
I mean, I had peach Moscato yesterday. It was amazing.
She is funny.
Girl, yeah.
No, she likes the flavored stuff. I ordered a glass of Pinot Grigio at dinner the other night. She was like, that is so gross. She had like an electric lemonade. She was making fun of me.
I will down your nasty drink. Ew. It's bitter. I just can't. I don't like none of them. Now, if I drink more and that's all that's left, I mean, I guess I'll drink.
That's going to be a fun time. No, that's an Uber night for sure.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited.
All right, and we'll have to continue to look for your show, and then we can find you on the Angela Bennett Show.
Yes.
Anything else that they can find you on? Or
you can find me on YouTube at Your Christian Diva 69. You can find me on Twitter at Your Christian Diva 09, and you can follow me on Instagram at Your Christian Diva Show and Facebook at Your Christian Diva Show or Sheree Young.
Okay. Love it. All right. Yes. Well, you guys look for Sheree Young.
Amazing.
She's got a lot going on. And get involved with these charities. It's so important. If you want to give back, man, you're bored out there, go do something about it.
Yes. I mean, right? Don't say you're tired unless you're doing some things.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on the show.
For having me.
And I want to give a shout out to JC Ross Monroe for my lovely hair extensions that she gave me.
Girl, I felt it.
If you guys want the hookup,
amazing.
Oh wow!
Go check out J Hughes Styling, JC Ross Monroe. She does an amazing job. So I told her I would give her.
I knew. Yeah, it's great. I don't even know you, girl, but I need to know you.
And that's so Mary had a little lamb.
Well, that's a wrap for women's empowerment and my lovely locks. We'll catch you guys
Bye,
next Friday. Bye, guys.